evening and welcome to our very first Portuguese lesson. Thank you for joining me. Our main aim is to help you communicate in Portuguese in most everyday situations. So we will be giving you the necessary vocabulary, grammar and language structures to be able to do that. Each lesson concentrates on a new topic and each lesson begins with a revision of the previous lesson's content. So as we move from lesson to lesson, from week to week, you will be learning, for example, how to speak about yourself, how to greet somebody in Portuguese, how to book at a restaurant, how to, for example, order at a restaurant too, and speak about yourself, your family, among many other situations. So I hope you are as excited as I am to learn this very new language. Remember, it is only by speaking a foreign language that you will learn how to speak it. So I do encourage you to repeat the sounds, the phrases, the sentences after me and get used to the sound and sound combinations of this language, which can be quite tricky and quite different from the English language. Also, it is quite important to write down what I am saying. I will be writing it, you will be seeing it. Have a notebook handy so that you can jot down a few notes. Those serve as a handy reference and also it is something for you to revise with from week to week. And now, if you are willing to say it after me, to repeat the sounds, the phrases, the sentences after me, you've got that notebook handy, you've got a pen in hand, shall we begin? The theme of today's lesson is, you might as well have guessed it, greetings. You will be learning how to greet somebody in Portuguese, how to respond to that greeting. Okay, so if your notebook is handy, your pen in hand, let's begin. The four main greetings in Portuguese, they are bom dia, boa tarde, that's boa tarde, boa noite, right, boa noite, and the very flexible and widely used olá. So let's go through those again. I'll say them and I'll tell you what they mean. Bom dia, we use it as a good morning. It literally means good morning or good day. So that's bom dia. And notice how the M is pronounced almost like an N sound. Bom dia. Boa tarde is good afternoon. Boa noite is good evening. And olá is just a general hello. Right, so let's just recap on that. How do we say good morning? There we go. Bom dia. And good afternoon is boa tarde. Good evening becomes boa noite. And just hello? There we go. Olá. Got that? Right, let's just say them again once more. Bom dia, boa tarde, boa noite, and olá. Right? Those are our main greetings. Now, when you say, how are you? Let's try and say that. Let's learn that in Portuguese. How are you is como está. Right? Como está. Como estás and como estão, right? Okay, now como está, it means how are you? So does como estás and como estão. So what is the difference between these? Como está, you use it formally. So como está is a more formal greeting. Use it for somebody you don't know very well. Como estás is informal. So you use it for somebody you know well. Informal greeting. Como estão means how are you, but you are speaking to more than one person. Right? Got that? So let's see. Como está, formal. Como estás, informal. Como estão is a group of people. You are greeting more than one person. So your greeting would go something like this in the morning. Bom dia. Como estás? If you are greeting somebody informally. Or bom dia, como está? And if you're greeting more than one person, you would say bom dia, como estão? Okay with that? Now, how do we respond to that greeting? In English, we say, well, thank you. In Portuguese, if someone says to you, bom dia, como está? You would answer by saying, bem, obrigado, or bem, obrigada. Let's see those. It is bem, obrigado, right? Bem, obrigado, or bem, obrigada. Okay? What is the difference between these two? They are gender related. So if you say bem, obrigado, you are a man. You will always use that if you are a man. Bem, obrigada, use it always if you are a woman. So gender related. Let's repeat those again. Bem, obrigado, and bem, obrigada. Right? And we've got the greeting going. So if I ask you, bom dia, como está? How would you answer me? You would say, that's correct, bem, obrigada, or bem, obrigado. Okay, right, shall we carry on? Because our greetings go, good morning, how are you? Fine, thank you, and you. We need that part. Okay, we need the and you. And you in Portuguese has got more than one version again. It is e o senhor, or e a senhora, right? E a senhora, e você, or e tu. Okay? So we've got 4 different versions. E o senhor, e a senhora, e você, e tu. What is the difference between these? They all mean and you, but e o senhor or e a senhora, they are very formal greetings. Okay? Use them for people, for example, you don't know very well. You are meeting them for the first time. And remember, they are also dependent on profession and the social standing of the person. So you would use it for a person you don't know, somebody that you are meeting for the first time. You would use it to greet your doctor. You would use it to greet, for example, the president of a country. So it's quite formal. E você is neither formal nor informal. It's somewhere in between. And e tu is a very informal greeting, right? So let's recap. The first two, e o senhor, e a senhora, very formal. E você, neither formal nor informal, somewhere in between. E tu, very informal. Use it for a work colleague, someone you know very well. A child, for example. Okay? So you get that. Now, imagine these 2 people behind me are greeting each other. What would they say? He greets first. He would say, bom dia, como está? How would she answer that greeting? She would say, bem, obrigada, e o senhor? And he would respond, bem, obrigado. Okay, you've got your greetings going. Now imagine they know each other very, very well. It's the evening. What would he say? He would say, boa noite, como estás? She would respond by saying, bem, obrigada, e tu? They know each other well. He would respond, bem, obrigado. Okay. Now when you say, and you, and you've used those 4 forms, e o senhor, e a senhora, e você, e tu, you can also use a person's name. So, and you could also opt for e, o André, or a Anna. What are you doing here? You are saying, I'm fine, thank you. And you, Andrew. And you, Anna. So that's perfectly acceptable in Portuguese. So is saying, I'm fine, thank you. And you, doctor. That's okay too, right? How would we do that? Instead of saying you, André, you, Anna, using first names, we would say o Senor Doutor, right? E o Senor Doutor. Now in English it might not sound very right because what you are literally saying is, and you, Mr. Doctor. That's perfectly acceptable in Portuguese and perfectly correct. And you can even add the surname after that. So it's perfectly acceptable to say, e o Senhor Doutor Marques. That's okay, right? You are using the greetings, you are using the names to denote respect. Okay? So you would say, boa noite, como está? That person would probably answer, bem, obrigada. E o senhor doutor? And you would answer, bem, obrigado. Right? Okay. Now, this takes us into a different topic. The Senor and Senora that you saw on the page, that you saw on the screen. Senor is Mr. Senora is Mrs. So those two words abbreviate to SR dot or SRA dot. Okay? That is Senor and Senora. Literally, you are saying Mr. with Senor and Mrs. for Senora, right? And Senor and Senora, they do come with a surname. For example, you would say Senor Marques, right? Senor Marques and Senora Marques. What are you saying? It's Mr. Marques and Mrs. Marques. Okay? You want to try that? Senor Marques, Senora Marques. Mr. Marks, Mrs. Marks. When addressing a married woman, perhaps you don't want to use the senora. Senora is a bit formal. It is common in Portuguese to say dona. Now D, full stop. That is the abbreviation of dona. And dona, you use it for a married woman. But dona is followed by a Christian name. So you wouldn't really say Dona Marques. You would opt for the first name. You would say Dona Anna, right? And not Dona Marques. There is no version like that for the male. The male is always Senor. So always Senor for a male. To say Mr. Senora for a woman, or Dona, right? Senora is more common with a last name. Dona is more common with a Christian name. And those are your forms of address. Mr., Mrs., and the different form of Mrs., the Dona. Right. Now, did you learn something? Are you able to greet somebody with all this? I do hope so. Okay, let's try again. Right, I'm sure that sounds a little bit confusing, but let's recap. If I were to greet you at home, I would say, boa noite, como está? Because I don't know you, so I'm using the formal greeting. Boa noite, como está? You'd say, bem, obrigado. Yes, senhora, because you also don't know me very well. Bem, obrigado, yes, senhora. And I would say, bem, obrigada. There we go. Now I encourage you to use those greetings, use everything that you have learned, and listen to Portuguese people. Listen how they greet so that you can pick up all these subtleties. Right, and that unfortunately brings us the end to today's lesson. So do join me again. In our next lesson, we will be learning how to speak about ourselves. So you will be learning how to say your name in Portuguese, how to say where you are from, your nationality, your age, your profession, and a multitude of other things. Please join me. Boa noite.